So welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for taking the time to be present on our seemingly very busy life that seemed to go somewhere very specific. And we are all very impatient to arrive there. So many things to do and things to not do. So many prohibition and so many must. And to arrive where, if we're honest, we don't know. But here we are running. Yeah, so why it's interesting, the word duality or non-duality, because to understand the suffering and the confusion and what is happening here, we have to understand that experience, any kind of experience, always appear within a spectrum. It always appears with a polarity. So anything that is appearing in your experience right now has always an opposite. So if there is bright color, there is dark color. And between both of them, there is a spectrum between them. If you take sensation, there is tension and expansion. There is cold and hot, and there is smooth and there is rough. So there is in every aspect of your experience, there is always a polarity, always a spectrum within which you are exploring. And of course, the spectrum seems to have a 2 point that are clearly defined, but of course, it's not that way. So it's an infinite spectrum, but it is always appearing within some kind of seemingly polarity. So experience is polarity, and polarity imply a duality in the sense that it implies that there is two forces that seem to be in conflict or in opposite. They're not in conflict, but because they appear with this spectrum, with this polarity, they seem to be opposite, right? So there is light and there is dark, so there is one or the other, right? And there is colors, and there is spectrum of colors and sound and sensation and perception, and even in thoughts there is always the polarity in thought also. It's the good thoughts, the bad thoughts, this and that, big and small. All of this perception of a big thought and a very small thought. The thoughts are very agitated and all thoughts are very peaceful. I have no thoughts, I have many thoughts. So all of this, it's always experience, it always appear within a spectrum. And that's the duality, that's the appearance of separation. A separation that there is two different points in my experience, two different experiences that are different and they are separated from one another. And the gap between the separation is the spectrum that is appearing. So anytime there is a polarity, there is a tension. There is some kind of movement between two things, seemingly two things, right? And that creates a movement of tension and relaxation, tension and relaxation, tension and relaxation. And that's why human life is an experience. It's appearing in myself. The human experience is appearing, and it is duality. It is the polarity that is appearing to me from a human perspective. So the human perspective is the appearance of division in my being. So I'm here, you are there. I'm sad, you are happy. I'm happy, you are sad. I'm sad, where is happiness? Right? There's always this conflict. So now there is some different angle in different tradition, different path to healing, and they are very different because the understanding of healing is completely it's completely different in the sense that some tradition propose a healing to find balance, right? So okay, the human experience is kind of stuck within this polarity, good, bad. I'm alone. I'm with someone, and this and that. So it's okay. So human life is this struggle, and we have to find the equilibrium between those two forces, and that's the healing. And if you are too much in one side, well, you need to find the other side, and that's their understanding of healing. The healing, or to be healthy, is to be able to have equilibrium between the two tension of the spectrum of human experience, because human experience is always moving between suffering and happiness, pain and pleasure, desire and rejection, repulsion, because the human experience have always this tension within it, and it's always moving from one to the other. So when you are happy as a person, ultimately you will lose the object of your happiness, and you will go back into suffering, and so back and so forth. So some traditions say, okay, the peace is to find equilibrium within this tension that is kind of that is pushing within us, and that is creating this seeking. So we have to find an equilibrium. From the non-dual perspective, and that's the huge difference of understanding of what is healing. Healing is not the capacity to find equilibrium within the spectrum, or to be able to be only one part of the spectrum, because you understand that the human experience is impossible to be in only one part of the spectrum. Like I cannot be only in happiness without feeling suffering. I cannot feel always pleasure in my body and not feel pain, because the human experience is the expression of this duality, of both of the polarities. So from a non-dual perspective, the understanding of healing is completely different. The understanding of healing is that my experience, this right here, is an appearance within myself. So right from the start, we disentangle ourselves from the object of experience. We disentangle ourselves from what is appearing within us. And the second step is to say, okay, the happiness that I feel does not come from the object or from anything that is appearing in my experience. That is people, state of consciousness, objects, body pleasure, food, drugs, or whatever object is appearing. The happiness that I feel is the expression of what I am, is the expression of that is supporting the full field of experience. And the more my experience becomes transparent, the more I can perceive my own being. And when I perceive my own being, when I perceive what I am and the nature of reality, that's when I feel happiness. And this happiness will start to express itself. It will mirror in experience. So that seems very abstract maybe, but if we take an image, if you take a movie, for example, if you go to the movie and there is a white canvas, right, where the film is projected. Let's say that the white canvas is what you are, and that's the happiness, because what you are is undivided. There's no conflict in essence. So when the movie is projected, there is color. There are different kind of light that are projected on the canvas, on the white canvas. And let's say if there is any kind of movie that is playing on the white canvas, the happiness does not come from what kind of movie is projected on the white canvas. The color of the canvas doesn't change. It's always white, even if there is different kind of color that are projected onto it. The whiteness of the canvas that is allowing the movie to be seen never change. The nature of the canvas never change. But now, when in the movie, when the light become more white, yeah, when the color that is projected match, or is more there's more transparency, the more whiteness you can see, and the whiteness that you are seeing is the essence of the movie. So just like in your experience, the essence of your experience is your own being, your own awareness is allowing everything that is appearing to to express itself and to be seen. And the human experience is one appearance within that. The confusion is we take the object of our experience as the cause of our identity, the cause of our emotional state, the cause of everything. We take the movie to be allowing the canvas, the whiteness of the canvas to be present. So we are putting the car in front of the horse. We are confusing into what is cause and what is effect. The your own being awareness is the only cause, and this never changes. And because it never change, because it is immortal, because it is not born and it will never die, and because it doesn't have any opposite, any polarity, because it is everything, but there is no conflict, and that's peace. And everything that appears is an expression of itself without conflict. That's love. That's joy. So from the non-dual understanding, healing is not healing the narrative of the person, of the story. Healing is to start to see more and more clearly that what I am is not what is appearing to me. That is, doesn't matter the drama that is projected on the whiteness of the screen. It doesn't matter the color that are projected on the whiteness of the canvas in the movie. The canvas is always white and it is always safe. And the more we perceive that, the more we feel that more and more in our experience, more and more there will be a relaxation, an easiness, a trust. And the more you relax in your own awareness, because you start to feel that, that's what I am, that's what I am. The expression will change, and experience will change. But it's more a consequences. It's not really. It's an expression of something. It's not causing anything. So human experience is an expression of something, but it is not causal. It doesn't cause anything. So anything that is appearing in your life as a struggle, as a difficulty, as a problem, in essence, it's made up. It's not there in the way you believe it is. And the more you start to feel what you are, what is the nature of reality, the more you start to feel that all of the consequences that seem to be very difficult in your life start to lose their importance and their heaviness and their seemingly life or death situation. So it's really The healing from a non-dual perspective, it's seeing clearly what is experience, what I am, what is this that is right here. And by seeing it more clearly and more clearly, the more happiness, joy, love I will feel. And this happiness, joy, love, and peace that I will feel will not be dependent on the story that is appearing, on thoughts, on perception, or sensation. It will be grounded. It will be grounded on what you are, on your own being. So you start to see that you don't do things for something. You don't act for happiness. You don't act for love. You don't act for peace. You act by something. Action that come from something. And this something is your own being. So in a way, it's at the beginning, it can feel very, very strange because the two seem very, they are superposed, right? They are overlapping. But the more you dive, the more you start to see that you will start to feel peace in situations that usually you don't feel peace from. You start to feel trust, and in situations where usually you feel fear. You start to feel loved even if there is no one around you. And that's where you will start to feel more and more that the experience as it is appearing in front of you is not causing anything. It's not causal. And the happiness and peace and joy that we long for doesn't come from experience. It comes from what we are and what reality is. So there's nothing wrong by having preferences, and human life will unfold in the way that it can, in the way that it must. And it's very strange because the more we relax with this story, with the goal that we have imposed on ourselves, with the meaning that we impose in our life and people around us, and the more we feel peace, love, and joy, and the more we feel those, the more they will start to express themselves. So it's very paradoxical, but it works because it is a fact of life that there is no separation in our experience. All of the duality that is appearing, all of the spectrum that is appearing, there is no real separation within the spectrum. Whenever you zoom in, you will always find a bigger spectrum, and if you zoom out, you will find always a bigger spectrum. So there is never really the end of the spectrum anywhere. So the spectrum itself, the impression that there is an opposite, an inside and an outside, a me and a you, a thought and a body, matter and consciousness. This seemingly polarity that is arising is not really in conflict because it is arising within something that has no opposite. So therefore, whatever it's appearing is not itself in opposite to anything, because everything is made out of awareness, out of consciousness itself. The trick is we have to inquire by ourselves, and we have to find this truth for ourselves and by ourselves, and we have to arrive to this conclusion and to this, realization directly, We have to see it directly to really grasp the implication of this realization, that is not only theoretical or some kind of distant philosophy, it is an actual fact of your own direct experience.